Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the hottest day of the year so far in Los Angeles. It's going to be 108 here today. I think I need a discount on my mortgage. Anyway, today's September 5th, 2024. My name's Dan Boole, and I'm sitting here with another hand-wired whiskey. I had one on last week, and we sold it. So I got another one. And the clean sound's done. If you were here last week, you saw that we were kind of tweaking the clean sound. It's good. It's a great rock and roll rhythm sound. When I say clean, it's not Nashville clean. Just, rock and roll clean. But anyway, life is good. I hope you guys are all good. I'm having fun. I was just sitting here warming up my hands, noticing some funny things. I just read just about 10 minutes ago that Brian May had a small stroke. Randy Krath, hey buddy, how are you? Nice to see you. Hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're having better weather than we are right now. Everybody is hiding. Hey Knut, how are you, sir? Good evening in Norway. Thanks for showing up. I just read a few minutes ago that Brian May had a stroke, small stroke. He's apparently saying he's fine. But as all of our heroes age, these things happen. So we wish Brian May all the best, of course. How much fun have you had listening to Brian May over the years? Oh my God. Low 80s. Oh, that's nice. We're having the low 100s. Trig, how are you, buddy? All right. Scandinavia checking in. So great. Anyway, for those of you that are just checking in, I have another hand-wired whiskey here. We sold the one last week. It is going to the Netherlands, actually. 73 degrees. Oh, man. Yeah, but summer's over where you live, right? September's the hottest month in Southern California. I know August is kind of usually the hottest month everywhere else in the country. September is the FU month. This is when we'll get that odd day over 110. We haven't had that. We've had a pretty cool summer, actually. Let's talk about the weather, shall we? That's what everybody wants to hear. We've had a pretty cool summer, so now that it's over 100 for a little bit, we're all like, oh, clutch my pearls. So anyway, I have good air conditioning in my old house, so it's nice and cool in here. We bought one of those heat pumps last year. Oh, my gosh. Blast cold air out, and it costs like 20% of running a traditional air conditioner. So I highly recommend it. We're loving it right now. Literally, like the front room in the house is kind of cool. TJ, hey, we had snow on the peaks over Labor Day up in Montana. Oh, well, man, my buddies are going fishing in Missoula on Monday, and I can't go this year. Remember I went there a couple years ago and told you about it? It's an annual trip with a bunch of guys in the music business. And, oh my gosh, it's such a perfect time to be in Montana. It's really cool at night and beautiful during the day, 75 during the day. And, 45 at night. Oh, just, Montana's gorgeous. If you guys haven't been to Montana, go to Montana, go fishing. I went fishing on that river where they, filmed A River Runs Through It with Brad Pitt and all that stuff. My hands were sore from fly fishing. Did 4 days in a row. Oh my God. Really fun. Anyway, let's talk about guitars and amps. Hey, Jorn. How are you, buddy? Jorn Pedersen. This is nice. I love how the Scandinavians are all ready to go. I think you guys just finished dinner, right? Because it's 9 o'clock at night there. Just finished dinner, put the kids in bed, maybe having a cocktail or a beer. Does not suck. So a couple of little things. I'm broadcasting on 4 different places right now. So some of you are going to see me responding to comments that you can't see. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get around that. Apparently StreamYard doesn't do that. I can share my screen with you, but it's my whole screen. So it'd be like me and then a little me with the little tiny comments that you can't read. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get over that. If you guys know any tricks or workarounds for that, I would love to do it. because right now I'm on two different YouTube pages. There's my personal Dan Boole page. There's the 65 amps page. I'm on the 65 amps Facebook page and my Facebook page. For some reason, Facebook does not let you live stream to groups. So the fans of 65 amps page, I can't stream to. I don't know why. That's between Mark Zuckerberg and God. Doesn't matter. Anyway, let's play a little guitar. This is the Whiskey. This is a different one than the one you guys saw last week. This is another hand-wired Whiskey. It's got a little different tubes in it. You might notice it sounds a hair different. Shows you what tubes do for amps. We didn't have the exact same preamp tubes in it. Lauren, hey, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Over on YouTube, Lauren Plummer. So I got Yorn on YouTube and Knut on YouTube, Randy Kreth and Trig and TJ on Facebook. We're going to sort it out. We're still working on it. I'm actually having a meeting with, there's this YouTube, Instagram influencer named Hannah Stocking. And her dad is a really good friend of mine. We're actually thinking about starting a business together. But anyway, it's a mission-driven restaurant to raise money for charities with the LAPD and stuff. It's really cool. I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, his daughter, Hannah, has like 30 million followers. Makes 150 grand a month off her YouTube channel. And lives in a gated community out in Calabasas next door to Bieber, which must suck. Can you imagine living next door to that guy? Holy crap, buddy. Oh, one of the things I noticed last week, you switched over to YouTube. Hey, there you are. Right on, Randy. You're everywhere, man. One of the things I noticed last week is my voice was way louder than the guitar. I could not tell that in my mix here off of my deal. So can you guys feel free to give me feedback of how you feel about the mix, right? If the guitar is too loud or my voice is too loud. I tend to have a foghorn kind of voice. Whenever there's a microphone in front of me, I learned how to sing on stage yelling over Marshalls with really crappy monitors. So whenever there's a mic in front of me, I tend to project. Maybe too much. It's hard for me to sit around and talk normally like this. Also, I think it's kind of boring, don't you? Like, and today's crop forecasts are corn is going to come in September. Who cares? Anyway, so please feel free to tell me. The Whiskey I found on Reverb should be coming tomorrow. Oh, great, Rob. Yeah, Rob and I accidentally pocket dialed Rob the other day on Facebook, and I was in the kitchen making coffee, and I was sitting there going, what in the hell's going on my phone? And it was Rob Price. And so we ended up having a nice conversation. Really nice guy. Thanks for all your support, Rob. From what I've heard, I'm okay today. All right. Thank you, Randy. It's nice to see your guys' faces. I just know names. I don't know you guys at all. You guys kind of know me a little bit. This is what it is. This is Dan. I'm not, Randy Kreth and I have talked on the phone a lot, and he can tell you I'm kind of the same dude, I think. Randy, you can confirm, a little bit hyper, kind of interminably happy and trying to laugh. But anyway, the Whiskey. Sort of a hot-rodded JTM 45 plus JCM 800 kind of mixed together. And then the clean channel is literally just a single gain stage through one tube that is based loosely on Little Elvis. So it's a very old school kind of clean that I really like. I find it very useful. Let's check it out real quick. So you guys have played the London, right? Or heard the London. That's a single gain stage. Dan, kind of focused and love having fun. Yeah, I try to. Life is short, man. As we all know. So I don't want to waste any of it. We can go philosophical if you want. Hey, let's talk philosophy with Dan Boole. Yeah, I'm just... Anyway, I think that's a great rock and roll rhythm sound. I love it. And this is very dry, right? There's no echo, no reverb, no compression. I could put a little more room sound on it, I guess, here on the aux. I'm using the, the UA aux box here. So the clean sound's pretty cranked right now. I'm like 9. So that's a really great sound, especially if you're running a pedal board. You want to add some time-based effects on there, which this does have an active loop, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before. This has an active effects loop on it. Not the standard passive loop that we have on our other amps. This actually has an active loop with a switch. You can turn it off and on. If you're using echoes, reverbs, choruses, flangers, with a little compression, this kind of basic clean sound is really, really good. You can just load it up with pedals. You know what's really funny? I should record, because when I'm warming up before I play way better. Like, for some reason, action. I think, don't. The joy of being a human being. I'm playing my Elliott Stratocaster here today, which is a hum single. Ron Ellis humbucker, and I think Andy Elliott's single coils. Obviously neck pickup Strat. So one of the things I gotta be a whiny little person about is I have to read comments, look into the camera, play guitar, and talk. So every once in a while I hit some clinkers, and you can feel free to laugh at me. Even a big ha-ha in the comments would be great. I mean, all your vintage sounds are in there as well. You know that thing? My favorite riff ever. You know? Whole reason I started playing guitar was because of that riff, believe it or not. I've been fascinated with that riff since I was 5 years old. My parents were big rock and rollers in the 50s and 60s, and they just had box after box of 45s. So when I got my first little close and play record player in like 1969 or 1970, I got all of their 45s from the 50s and early 60s up through about 1964, 1965. So there are Beatles stuff in there, but Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, Buddy Holly, Dwayne Eddy, all that stuff. Just great stuff. And then, it was Missouri too. So there was like some Johnny Cash and some George Jones and, really cool stuff. And then Beatles songs. Even some of the silly pop songs in the early 60s, Dion, that kind of thing. But anyway, so I've had that riff in my head forever. It just plays in my head. I don't even practice it, never have. I just hear it in my head. I don't play it perfectly every time. Anyway, good clean sound. 6L6s, 1 gain stage. Go to the humbucker. It's just a great, vintage crunch. Who can sing that high? Very nice harmonic content there. Anyway, it's a fun amp. I like it. I would like to see it in your household, if you don't mind. So, what's going on is Mike and I are building some prototypes, waiting on power transformers still. Oh my God, the world has changed, This is old man shit, right? But, when we were at our peak before the recession, you could call any transformer company and say, hey, I'd like to try this and try to do that. And can you build me this that has this tap on it and blah, 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 blah. And they would go, yeah, sure. It'll take like 8 days. Okay. Now you do it, it's like 4 months. We've lost some of our important people in the music business as well. Like many of you guys remember Patrick Selfridge that used to work at Mercury Magnetics. If you're one of 65's customers, you may have dealt with him before. Patrick was a unicorn, a one-of-a-kind person we may not meet again. Rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago. Guys like that, I'm having a hard time. I just want a certain kind of transformer. So if you have any suggestions, give me a call. Drop me a note. Anyway, speaking of this amp, if you want to buy it, if I say the price on the broadcast, the algorithm picks up. Yeah, Randy, you dealt with Patrick. You know how nice he was. I feel lucky to have known Patrick. He made my life nicer. So thank you for that. Anyway, excuse me. If I say the price here on the broadcast, the algorithm's going to pick up that I'm selling something. And then it'll jump on me. So I'll say some numbers. They're not related. It's not a sale. 2 is the number of power tubes this thing has. 1 is the number of foot switches this has. 0 is the number of transistors it has. 0 is the number of circuit boards it has in it. That's 2, 1, 0, 0. So you get what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, this is the hand-wired one. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. So when we made this amp, I got talked into going to a printed circuit board on this by my licensee and Dave Friedman, who helped with it, who was great. We had a lot of fun working together. Nice guy, knowledgeable guy, really cool. He is a Marshall dude. But because building the hand-wired version of this, the retail price was going to get close to $4,000 to make it, worthwhile as a business venture. So that's why it's a little more. I think it's a cool sound. I mean, that's pretty cranked. I got a little more, 2 more numbers or something, get a little dirtier than that, but I love that rhythm sound. To me, that's, Again, we've had this conversation before. I think I'm going to start a segment on each of these shows called Think Like a Guitar Player. Don't think like a fan. So one of the things I notice when I see people playing music, we talked about this, but I'm going to repeat it for those who maybe didn't see it. Everybody plays stuff way too dirty. Like way too dirty. It's more forgiving that way. I understand it takes less effort to play it that way. But like the Who stuff, that's almost too dirty there. That might be dirtier than the record. I don't know. But I hear people play AC/DC and ZZ Top and Led Zeppelin and it's just dirty. Oh my God, is it dirty? So what you got to do is use your right hand. Your right hand has to lay into the guitar. I'm hitting this guitar hard. This is a heavy pick, by the way. Well, close. It's a Dunlop 0.88, right? I think 1.0s are the heaviest they have, maybe. But if I move that over here, I hear most people play this song like this. That's not what the record sounds like. I don't even have the gain up on this side like this, right? That is not what that song sounds like. It just sounds silly. Yeah, it's got some good Mike Campbell tones in there too. That's probably too dirty for Mike. Let's do that. Whoops. Yeah. Great rock and roll rhythm sound, right? Let me think about Mike Campbell. Oh my God, the rhythm stuff's so good. Still kind of dirty maybe for Mike. Let me take it down just a little bit. Yeah. I dig that. Hang on one second. I got to just say hello to this guy and I'll be right back. Hey, bud, doing my show. Let me give you a call back. All right. Okay, buddy. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. Short list of people that I answered the phone for. Maybe too much room sound. Let's go back it down just a little bit. She grew up in an Indiana town, you know, all that stuff. I hear people play that song so dirty. Hoss Thompson's back from the north of England over on Facebook. Anyway, you got to hit the guitar a little bit, and man, you get some sound out of it. Which is fun. That concludes my segment of Think Like a Guitar Player. Some things take some effort. More effort than you suspect. And the good news is, every one of you can do it. I see a lot of guys, I have a lot of friends and family and stuff, and they play guitar, and they play guitar so timidly. I'm like, man, it's a piece of wood. Hit that damn thing. See the dynamic range I have there by just backing off a little bit? Thank you, Hoss. Sounds bonny. I love it. I can hear the northern accent right now. I love it. Anyway, man, boy, we could go down a deep, dark rabbit hole playing Tom Petty songs, couldn't we? Holy crap. Good rhythm stuff. Mike Campbell's such a tasty rhythm player. I mean, his lead playing's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. Oh, good comment here. Hoss Thompson says, Neil taught us that hitting it so hard your bass string wobbles and the pitch is, yeah. No, if you hit it so hard it goes sharp. That's the way to play guitar. You can hear it. Hear it going sharp there? That's the key to that sound. It's also the key to the sound of... Man, a little more dirt than that for that song, right? Right? Sounds like rock and roll to me, says Hoss Thompson. Yeah, that's it. That's one of the secrets right there. I'm opening the kimono and telling... A lot of people don't want to hear it because they don't want to hit the guitar hard. They don't have the confidence to hit the guitar. So I give people guitar lessons once in a while, friends and friends' kids and stuff. And I tell them, man, hit that thing so hard. Hit it so hard you screw up. And then just back down a little bit. And then that ceiling will reach higher and higher. And that's the sound of making good... When you listen to real guitar players on records, they're hitting the guitar hard. There's a few exceptions. I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't hit the guitar very hard. He's all about big left-hand vibrato. But... Are we going Rush next? Is that what you wanted, Haas? Is that right? That's a great album. That's early Rush. Fly By Night. That's really good stuff. When Neil Peart had like 4 toms instead of 37. That's superb. You're my hero. Oh, thanks, Haas. I'm just old, man. I used to play that song in my junior high band. The drummer in my junior high band actually ended up being my high school band, ended up being kind of a brother for life. He was a huge Neil Peart fan. So I don't know. There's Canadians are going to tell me I should be saying Neil Peart. This is the whiskey, 110. I can convert it to whatever voltage you want, though. It'll convert to 230, 240. It's fine. But it's 120 volts is what it's set up for right now. Andy Gold, what's up, neighbor? How you doing, man? That's that sound on this. Oh, I get so many scam calls. There's that rebel colonial. Yeah, damn colonials. You know how they are. Thanks, Haas. Yeah, you and I need to play some rock and roll together. This banker's haircut belies me. It's just hotter than... What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to say it in English. Colonial voltage. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, autocorrect, gotcha. What's the word I'm looking for? It's hot as... I don't know how to say it in English. I think the word in Latin is fuck. It's hot as fuck. I don't know how to say that in English, but... It's funny. Last couple weeks, I've been playing those Stone Temple Pilots songs. Like this, right? Then I started realizing, let me go back over to the cleaner sound, how much that is similar to It Won't Be Long. Isn't that fun? What's the delta on time there? 30 years? Early 60s, early 90s? And you switch back over to... So yeah, let's do the Beatles song with modern tonalities. How about that? That was kind of nerdy, wasn't it? Bad Mashups by Dan Bull. Hoss Thompson says, beat the Beatles. That's right. We all know that band. They're good. They're really good. Those songs translate, though. I always thought it was really fun. Beatles songs translate really forward. Like, we can take in this dirty thing that I've got it going on right now with the amp. Let's see, what's another one that works well? Oh, Siri, shut up. Dumb digital thing. I don't know how that got set off. Last night I said these words to this riff is timeless, right? Go clean. Man, that's good rock and roll sound, isn't it? Or is it just me? Am I just old dude playing rock and roll sound? But that... Hoss Thompson says, astutely, Bernard Butler of Suede was great exponent of those funky chords with lead lines and arpeggios, etc. I don't know if Suede made any headway on the States, but they were great. No, I mean, I've heard of them, but I couldn't tell you any of their songs. Feel free to post a link here if it'll let you post a link. I don't know if it will. But if it does, turn us on, man. Turn us on, Hoss. I know you have good musical taste because I know your band. This is a Ron Ellis humbucker if you're digging the sound. This is the benefits of a low output humbucker. See that chime and ring that you get there? You do have to work your right hand harder, that's right. Thank you, Hoss. Check out the link, man. I kind of tend to pedal the same riffs all the time because I love them so much. When you're trying to demonstrate a guitar and an amp, there's just certain songs that let you hear the equipment instead of me. Like, you don't want to watch me do my thing because I'm not very interesting. But the songs, at least you know what they're supposed to sound like. It's a reference point that you know. Marcus Derby. Buenos dias, señor Dan. Buenos dias, señor Derby. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Está bien? Bienvenidos. What is it? So many Biden jokes I can make right now. Hey, Joe, where are you going with that election in your hand? Thank you, Haas. Yeah, you know, I have a lot of music store experience. Peter Stroud and I used to manage the guitar and amp section of a store in Atlanta called Rhythm City, which is now Guitar Center. They got bought by Guitar Center. But you quickly learn to not put the attention on you, to put it on the equipment. And if your ego is not in check, that's a hard thing to do. So I see a lot of demo videos with guys that could just play their nads off. I mean, it's just, okay. You know, I can't hear what the amp or the guitar's doing because the guy's just wailing, which is neat. It's impressive. It's cool. I enjoy it, but it's not going to make me buy any gear, you know. I love that touch sensitivity down there. I'm not using a pick, that's just my fingernails. There you go. Good rock and roll sounds. You know what song I was going for there, right? Even though this is not the right tuning, right? It's not the Peter Stroud tuning. I belong long way from. Man, I dig that sound. My watch is vibrating like crazy. What in the hell? Who can sing that high? guys like rock and roll? I know it's kind of an old man's game now, but I like rock and roll. I mean, the overgain kind of heavy stuff is fun. It's very forgiving. Saw Peter with Cheryl, Rick Hoffman. Oh, good. Yeah, great show, huh? Yeah, the band now is, Peter and Audley Freed, who are both just ridiculously great guitar players and very different guitar players. Peter is a technician. I mean, he is Mr. Precision, Mr. Professional. Audley Freed's kind of like, kind of like the contrast between Joe Perry and Brad in Aerosmith. Like, they're both great. They're just both amazing guitar players, very different styles. Very fun. I love Peter's playing. He's been one of my favorite players since I met the guy. Literally, I think I told you guys the story. He sat in with the band I joined in Atlanta because the drummer used to be his wife's boyfriend a long time ago. And he borrowed my guitar and sat in with my band. I went, holy shit, I love this. I love the way he plays. So good. You guys want to hear a different guitar, like a Gretsch or something? I think I played all Strat last time. Haas Thompson says on Facebook, the trouble I find with a lot of modern amps or recycle and rehash design, yeah, there's a lot of that. I don't get that. But anyway, it's just me. Hey, I want a deluxe. Just go buy a deluxe. I've played, they tend to homogenize everything that goes into it. Great if you're not that great, but boring and suffocating if you can actually play. Yeah, that's true. The other thing, too, is it does not encourage you to play any better, which I think an amp should inspire you to reach for more and play a little better, Because on a lot of amps, doesn't matter how much more effort you put into your guitar playing, it doesn't sound any different. That's part of the fun, man. It's like, got a little vocabulary and headroom here. If I had a compressor on right now, all of that quiet finger picking, if I had a compressor in the loop on the back, all of that quiet finger picking would be up at the same level, right? I'm just going straight in, no grease here, nothing. It's not really very intellectually honest to hook up a bunch of grease on the guitar and then go, here's what you're going to sound like. I got some swampland in Florida. Neck pickup, right? Fifth position, fourth position. Third position, middle pickup. Now on this guitar, since it's hum single single, second position is the humbucker and a single and the middle position. Which I like. This is my only hum single single. I got 3 other Strats, two that are here. There's regular Strats, different pickups, and then humbucker. So the amp does what you ask it to do, man. And then we'll go over the dirty side, which I love the dirt. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diss the dirt. But even on the dirt, I've only got the gain up to 6 here. All right, I'm not really killing it. playing simple chords so you can get an idea. Awesome. I love your comments. I'm going to put it on the screen, actually. I wish I could do it in your accent. Did you know that you can have a clean sound and a dirty sound in the same song without touching a pedal? Fucking sorcery. Yeah, I know. I've heard of these things. I heard tell of it. Were you at last week's meeting, the Underground Secret Society meeting? I think we talked about that, right? I can play clean on the dirty channel. It's a blues lick, right? You just play it with different rhythm. That's why I immediately go, oh, I know what he's doing there. Anyway. Oh, shit. I'm so sorry, Haas. You're right. Haas reminds me accurately, the first rule of Secret Underground Society is we don't talk about the Secret Underground. Oh, fuck, yeah. My bad. Meth is a powerful drug, man. Things happen. So sorry. Hey, Dave Balser, how are you? I still got my Soho sitting here. I almost brought a Soho today. We've got a few more of those. I got 2 or 3 more blue ones. Soho's awesome. I love Soho. Especially like if you're not into this kind of dirt. It's such a good amp. So fun to play. And as we were talking a minute ago, I find it to be very encouraging. Like when I play that, thank you, Dave. He says, I love that amp. Yeah, me too. Whenever I'm playing a Soho, it kind of encourages me to play. I want to keep going. So I'm on the dirty channel just playing with my fingers here. Raymond Colby, that's funny. Original Party of Lincoln, the Whigs. Yeah. That's what I was going for. Yeah, secret societies, man. They appeal to the gullible, I think. Anyway. I am in the secret society of cookie people. We have meetings. We sit around and talk about how we can't resist eating cookies. I don't really have a sweet tooth. I'm testifying right now. I do not have a sweet tooth except for cookies. I'm in the secret society of cookie eating mofo. I'm sorry, Raymond. I'm just giving you a hard time. It was funny. I love you. I'm sorry. Haas Thompson says, you're an articulate man. I've never heard someone explain why Vox dirt and Marshall dirt sound and feel so different. Well, thanks. They're very different circuits, and they have different sort of, the electricity flows through them differently. For many reasons, I could go off on a really boring hour-long sort of intricate lecture on why Vox circuit is fun and why Marshall circuit is fun, but they're very different. Bring back the Whig Party and call it the Independence Party. Okay. So we're coming up on 1 o'clock. I never pulled out another guitar. I suck. So maybe let's pull the Gretsch out next week, yeah? All right, so I've just been rambling for, what does it say, 51 minutes and 9 seconds. I like playing these amps. So what's on your mind? What can I answer you? What are your questions or thoughts about what's going on here? Anything, the podcast, whatever it's called these days, live stream, web show, Fruit Loops, I don't know. And the whiskey. I don't have a foot switch hooked up, so you can do all this on a foot switch. Right? This is, if I go down, here to like this, that's a really good. I keep thinking Mike Campbell. That's such a great rhythm sound. That thing. But anyway, what do you guys think? Haas Thompson says, I'm just happy to catch up with the Hollywood Bull. But thanks, man. You remember, don't you? That's what my family calls me in Missouri. I'm the Hollywood Bull. I live right by the Hollywood Bowl. I mean, it's yeah, totally. Rob Price asks, will 2 greenbacks survive the battering of the whiskey? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're going to dime it, because modern greenbacks are 25 watts, and I know that all the speaker companies conservatively, they conservatively rate their speakers for warranty purposes. So they're going to deny this, which is what they should do. But we used to test all the speakers we got to see what it'd take to blow them up. A G12H30, which is rated at 35 watts, I think. I ran 75 watts through that thing. I mean, it was definitely unhappy, but it worked fine. It didn't sound great. It was losing its composure for sure. So I know those greenbacks are rated at 25 watts. Realistically, they're probably about a 40 watt speaker. But if you're not going to be diming it, you're totally fine. Dave Balser, great thing. Yeah, I feel like the market has really shifted to modeling and natural DSP quad cortex. Anything from 65 in that market. You're very correct. Digital is the 800-pound gorilla now. Tube amps are a novelty thing almost. Digital stuff is outselling tube stuff 20, 30 to 1. I have access to the numbers from the companies that I do consulting work with. We sit around here. I'm going to put this guitar up. Hang on one second. Let me just put this down. Lived on Cahuenga at the Mikado. Oh, wow, nice. Used to be able to hear all the shows from the bowl. Oh, nice, Raymond. Yeah, I'm on the other side. I'm on the back side of it. Like Studio City, Valley Village thing. Most likely I'll be using a 412 with 65 watt. Oh, my God, yeah. Those speakers aren't even going to break a sweat. You're talking, 260 watts of power handling there with an amp that, you're going to be running 30 watts or something. You'll be fine, my brother. So, yeah, the Hollywood Bowl for me is 5-minute drive, maybe, something like that. Scotty Bratcher. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Which tubes, says Scotty, do you think like Alnico speakers versus which ones like ceramic? I've never really thought about it in those terms, to be honest with you. That's a great question. I've never looked at it through that lens, especially now today. Tube choices are so bad. I definitely think Mullards go well with Alnicos. Mullards have a very pronounced mid-range notch if you can spend the money on Mullards. There's not that many great ones left anymore, and the market is reflecting that in the price. I personally like Telefunkens better than Mullards because they're a little more full range, which I think sounds good in a ceramic speaker. The only amps that I use Alnico speakers on are Voxes or Vox circuits, like our circuits, like a London or a Soho. Other than that, I really like ceramic. Just G12H30, I think is one of the best speakers ever made. It's the do anything speaker. Ray Colby says digital undertow is how I describe. Some would not feel of my. Yeah, they're getting better, Raymond. Um, but so as far as us doing that, Tom Sarowski and I created thousands of IRs. So what I would like to do eventually is take the functionality of this aux box and include it in the amp. Um, and that would just give you the option of having a digital out, but it's still a tube amp behind it. Whether it be hand wired or not, I really don't think makes that much difference if you have a good PCB designer. I have a guy that works at Jet Propulsion Laboratories. He did the PCB on the whiskey, and it was the first amp I've ever seen in my life that had zero floor noise. Zero. Thanks, Dave. I have IRs I can sell you. We can talk. Just send me a note on Facebook or my email address. I'll put it up here again. I always do this at the end of the show. I made IRs of our cabinets plus all kinds of other stuff, right? And I did them with Tom at Henson Recording. So we use vintage mics, vintage preamps, all that stuff. So, yeah, I can hook you up. That's the goal, and that's why we're selling these amps, to raise money to do all this stuff. I don't want to borrow any more money. At my age, it's not a smart move. So that's my private email address. You can write me there anytime. I will answer it. I'm also on Black Ops, like the PXG golf clubs, right? Yeah, I'm on Facebook Messenger all the time, Instagram, and whatever. I'm easy to find. I'm not hard to find at all. I'm not one of those guys with a guarded profile anywhere, because I'm a man. Boom, bow, boom, bow, bow. Sorry. So, yeah, that's what we want to do. It's a long-term project. I'm not going to do it like by Christmas. Probably take a couple of years to get it going, unless someone wants to jump in and partner with us. That's part of the reason I resurrected the show, is that I don't want to run a factory again. I did that for a long time. It was fun. I started when I was, we opened our first factory when I was 39 years old, which that is a great time in life to start a manufacturing business. I'm 59 years old now, and that is not a good time to start a manufacturing business. However, I think there's a lot of value in the brand and the ideas that we have. I'm actually applying for some intellectual property. I own all the intellectual property of the company, so everything's registered to me, not to 65 Corp or to anybody else. It's registered to me, Dan Buhl. So the name of the company, the name of all the amps, even some of the features I have. So, yeah. Someone will jump in. Yeah. Oh, that's the goal. That's why I'm here. We're raising a little money to build these prototypes. I'd like to show somebody that, hey, there's more than what we just made 10 years ago. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. But it does take money. But I have learned, I've been doing consulting work, still am, for Japanese digital amp companies. I've learned a lot from those guys, like a lot. It's very cool. And so I've learned, thank you, Raymond. I appreciate the kind words. I've learned a lot, and I've thought about it because you guys know me. I'm not really a passive person or an idle person. So I have thought quite a bit about how I would integrate the two worlds, because I believe there is a false choice that marketing people are forcing you to make. One of which is, I'm a tube guy or I'm a digital guy. I really don't think that is an intellectually honest position. You can do both. You can do both really well. Digital can enhance tubes, and tubes can enliven digital stuff. And as I say that, I hope you're sitting there going, oh yeah, of course. What the hell am I thinking? So I see all these guys, I'm a tube guy and screw you. And the other people, I'm a digital guy and I'll never go back to tubes. Well, that's fine if you feel that way. I think it's a false choice. I don't think anyone has integrated it very well yet. There are some people that have tried and done some okay stuff, but they're not conceptually there. They're doing it. Yeah, that's right, Raymond. Yeah, two prevalent political parties. Right. That is a false choice. I think it's a mistake to pick a party. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I have a degree in political science. My diploma is right there somewhere back there. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Up there next to the picture of my grandpa. Once you study political science, you realize the parties are all a game. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So anyway, similar though, you're right, Raymond, in that digital and tubes are not an either or situation. You can go as far as you want to go. Either way, you can bias, pardon the pun, the tube pun. You can bias your setup digitally or analog, however you like. And it's all subjective. This is part of the think like a guitar player theme. Everything is different. You know, I get customers that call me and say, when I play my whatever amp, it doesn't sound like it does when you play it. And I go, well, yeah, we're different people. And I watched your show and you were playing a Strat through or whatever. And all right, well, what are you playing through it? Oh, Paul Reed Smith. Okay, well, that's a great guitar, but it's a very different animal. And then I play with a heavy pick and a very heavy right hand. Do you do that too? No, I don't. Okay, well, that makes a lot of difference. So it's all subjective. Trying to imitate someone else's sound is also a line of hooey. You can't do it. You're going to sound like you. Billy Gibbons is going to sound like Billy Gibbons. Billy Gibbons cannot sound like you. You cannot sound like Billy. You can get close, you know, like you can strongly suggest other guitar players, but you don't have his hands. And so same thing with digital and analog stuff. For every person, I guarantee I could sit down with you and find a sweet spot that you'd be happy with. You know, I spent 6 years working at Line 6 as a consultant, helping them dial in certain products, Helix and some of their little amps. I actually made the prototype for the, what's it called? They used a different name that I'm not wild about. Their newest little digital amps. What's it called? Anyway, starts with a C. Blank. Anyway, I built the prototypes for that, and I did the proposal. I still have it on my laptop. I have the PDF file. But yeah, Ray, the load box with a digital out on it. This is playing IRs. I mean, I'm just using the UA box that has IRs built into it, and I just stay on the Marshall 412 IR. That's the only IR I ever need. I'm a simple guy. I think you can do everything you want with a Marshall 412. But I made my living with a Marshall 412 for over a decade, so that's home base for me. So anyway, I think there's a lot of useful stuff there because I would love to sit with this amp and plug directly into my computer and record into Pro Tools or Logic. I use Logic more than Pro Tools. Pro Tools if you're doing something big, but Logic's fantastic. And maybe I'll do it. I can play you some tracks that I did. I have the cable right here, actually. I can play you some tracks that I did doing that very thing. I did it in Logic years ago. It was during lockdown. It was proof of concept that I did for Line 6. It's on my phone, and I even bought a cable so that I could show you guys this stuff. Probably don't have time to do it today, but let's shoot for next week. So I got my scissors in here. I can cut this mofo open. And I think we have the right technology here. $6 million man, we can rebuild him. Yeah. So I can plug my iPhone into this dealy-ma-whopper. And yeah, Helix is great. I mean, the interface is difficult. And I told them that on day one, but they don't care because they sell like $20 million a year of it. Just to give you an idea of how the market has changed, Line 6 sells more Helix than all tube amps in the world combined. How about that? That's where the market is now, right? It is a different world. Let's see. Oh, that's not a stereo input. Scheißkopf. Maybe that isn't going to work. The wrong cable, maybe. Well, let's see. It's not particularly a stereo thing. Let me see if I can do it here real quick if you want to experiment. But, yeah, we'll do that next week. I'll do that on my own time. I'm not going to waste your time. Anyway, when I got there, 2016, Helix sounded really good. They just needed some work. They didn't have their cabinets sounding right and everything, so I started making IRs there for them. Marcus Ryle paid me to sit in the basement. Their studio is in the basement. And I had the studio. The control room was my office, and the studio was my workspace. And I sat there for 6 months and figured out a new way to make IRs. They have some really great technical engineering guys there that assisted me. And we made, if you listen to their IRs now that are in the whiskey, that all comes from that work. They've taken it farther since I left. They've done a great job with it. There's a couple of guys there in particular that are amazing at this stuff. Shout out to Brandon Nelson, who's really fantastic. Anyway, it's all doable is my point. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. It's all doable. Like you can make it so it sounds, if I play these tracks for you, you're going to be like, shut up. That's not an IR. It works. It works really well. And, well, let's just see if I can play one here really quick. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let me go into email. Hold on. It's an email. Bear with me. Crap. It's going to take me a minute. Subject contains. Let's see what we got. I'm going to take a minute. It's been a while. Anyway, I'll play them next week. And you'll get what I'm talking about. You'll get it. So it's doable. And so I would like to go there. I would like to find partners that have the interest and the resources. It doesn't have to be my company. You can buy 65 for a good price. Trust me. I'll sell it to you for a really nice price. And I'll just be the dude, Raymond. That's a good comment. He's Noel Gallagher, repeating what Noel Gallagher told me 65s look like. It looks like a fucking Chevy. But anyway, yeah, I'd love to partner with someone who's interested in doing this. So I'm just saying it out loud, thinking that maybe someday someone will see this or hear it third hand. Hey, I heard Dan Buell talking about this thing. So anyway, I can tell I'm intriguing the hell out of you guys. Catalyst. Thank you, Theo. Catalyst. Yeah, I had a different name for it. But I built the prototype there with a different Brandon at Line 6. And they've changed it quite a bit. It wasn't, someone else got a hold of it and put their stamp on it and changed it into more of a heavy metal thing, which I have opinions about that. I think you can just stick boxes in front of your amp and turn it into a heavy metal amp in the digital world. But anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. But anyway, so Hoff says, I'm intrigued by the hybrid of digital and valve. I hope it's not a loaded question, but what would be the benefits of using both? Oh, no, it's not a loaded question at all. It's a great question. So if you're using them both simultaneously, if you can give your sound man a digital feed, it's going to sound way better than a microphone does. Way better than a direct line does. Because a direct line, you can't play in IR. What you're listening to me play today is an IR. This is a digital line in. I've got a digital line right here. It's an analog out from a digital device. So this interface just sees it as a microphone. And when you do that with your live sound, it's a big difference. So then you transport that over to the studio. If you can plug directly into the Pro Tools or Logic or whatever you're using, you don't have to mess around with preamps. You don't have to mess around with microphones. You don't have to mess around with echoes in the room. You don't have to mess around with bass traps. You don't have to mess around with mic bleed, all that stuff. You can get a reliable, great sound. Oh, Scotty, that's so funny. Scotty Bratcher, who plays louder than Jimi Hendrix, says, I love the idea of an attenuated stage volume, but super clean front of house. Yeah, I know. I'm kidding you, man. I love that you play loud. I envy you. I'm too old to do that nonsense. I can't do it. But the idea of being able to simultaneously send analog signal out to your cabinet so you can hear it. Also, I think it's important to have a cabinet on stage so it interacts with the pickups on your guitar. That's one of the things we're not getting here right now, is that there's no speaker attenuating the strings and stimulating the pickups. That interaction of what it's like when you're standing next to the speaker cabinet. It's a sound. It's a thing. So when you're running, Hoss, this is directly to your question, when you're running analog and digital at the same time, you get the best of both worlds. So your sound man loves you, or if you're in a studio, the engineer loves you. And then the audience loves you because they get a much better sound. Also, let's say you're doing home studio stuff. Boss Katana is great, Paul Keller. I know, Scotty. I was just kidding you, man. I love you. You know that. But anyway, say you're doing home studio stuff and you want to start recording. Here's what you got to do. You got to go buy a couple of mics. You can use 57s, which are cheap, but you'll quickly outgrow those. You need some preamps. Good preamps, quality preamps, cost $1,000. You can get good preamps for $495, but you can tell they're not top-notch stuff when you listen to the recording. The guitars, hey, BJ bought a color boost. Nice. Congratulations. Yeah, it's a great pedal. But anyway, so you go buy a couple of mics. You go buy a couple of preamps. You need a mixer in order to connect those things to. A good one, a cheap one, is going to be $400 or $500 that have decent, everything in it. You can probably get a used one for $200. So you're in for about, let's say, $2,500 to $3,000 just to turn the lights on, right? Oh, and by the way, do you know how to use that stuff? Like, miking up good guitar sounds is not a matter of just sticking a mic in front of a cabinet. There's a lot more to it. Do you know how to structure gain stages? Then you're probably going to need a compressor. And then you need a ADDA converter box that converts audio to digital and analog to digital and digital to analog. A good one of those that's recording quality, $600-700 entry level. A proper one's over $1,000. So now you're in about $5,000. And do you know how to use this? Honestly. So instead of all that, just use this. It works. Every single home studio, sideman, professional studio player that I know is using the aux box now. I'd like to integrate that. And you can record on headphones and monitors. That's right. You don't have to blow your freaking head off. Because for this amp to sound correct, I got to turn it up pretty loud, which means I'm not doing it here in my home office. The room's too small. I'll blow my head off. It's not fun. And then how do you mix? You know, you're sitting there trying to mix while there's an amp blowing your head off from behind you. It's hard. Have you ever tried to mix guitars? You can't do it when you're in the room with. That's why it's always in a loud room, you know. And then you're back in the control room. It'll overpower your ears and your headphones completely. So you see what I'm talking about. So Hoss, this is a long answer to a short question, but you can really, really make a difference by doing this. And so you're kind of off to the races. So if you have an amp that can do both of these, I'm giving away my secrets here. Somebody's going to watch this and just do it. But, you know, thanks, Hoss. I appreciate that. Hoss says it's good points. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Oh, what a nice gentleman from France. Bienvenue. I love my London and Royal Albert. I think these amps kick ass. Everyone here in France is amazed by my sound when I play live. Well, thank you, sir. Hey, it's Dan Mamano up in Mammoth. Hey, man, how are you? I saw the pictures with your beard. You look great. I hope you're happy up there in the mountains. We miss you here, though. I guess you heard about the earthquake at the store. We'll talk. But anyway, so if I can build something like this that I think is functional and affordable by buying this amp, I'm actually... Well, so Dave Balser, let me come back to that in a second. IRs are not amp IRs. They're just cabinets. Cabinets and microphones and preamps. The amp's up to you. But there's IR model. I mean, there's models of Sohos around. Hey, Don Feber, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Anyway, if I can provide you with a product that does all of that, in theory, I've enabled you to do all this other stuff that would have cost you a lot of money. So it's money well spent. It won't be a cheap product. We'll definitely have to make two versions of it, like one overseas and one here. Good, love it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm glad you're well, Dan. I hope you're happy. The pictures of your family look great. I have a friend with a cabin up in Mammoth, and I go there and visit him often. Actually, he lives here. We go up there and go fishing in the Owens River. We go catch some trouty poos, and I'll give you a call. Yeah, so this gentleman's mentioning Hook amps out of Holland. Yeah, I know them. They're doing a good job. They're nice people and everything. But so if I can give guys like Scotty Bratcher, who has a stage rig that'll just blow your eyebrows off, it's so loud. But if he could feed his front of house guy a clean digital, thanks, Don. You look good too, buddy. I appreciate it. But you could give your sound man a clean signal. It could be analog or digital, but all boards now have digital inputs. So digital's quiet. Digital's easy to mess with. So, but you're still hearing analog on stage, and the people in, your band is still organically playing together. Unlike a lot of people that have in-ears and they're all listening to canned stuff. I'll definitely call you, Dan, for sure. I'm glad you're well, buddy. Seriously, I mean that. So I think there's a lot of viable, forward-looking options for the future. I have reached out to Universal Audio, Haas. I should do it some more. It's a good point. Haas Thompson asked if I reached out to Universal Audio. Yeah, they're busy guys. Like, I know the people there. They're all off on 5-year plan and a project, so I don't know that they can just drop everything they're doing and jump in. Really, all I need is a company like that could buy my company so cheap. It would literally be a rounding error for them. That's a wildly successful, rich company. So you're buying 6 or 7 models of amps that would immediately pick this up, and you're starting on third base. So we could do that. I'd happily be an employee or a consultant or whatever, and we can do this together. Like I said, I'm just too old to start another factory. Well, I'm not too old. I just don't want to fucking do it. Does that make sense? I have a big racing stripe down the middle of my chest from the last time I did it. It kind of burns you. But anyway, that's my story. And I've been an hour and 21 minutes so far. I'm sorry about that. I like this conversation bit. Maybe we should do more of that. I kind of play guitar and get carried away, lose track of time. I love all these ideas. I really appreciate it. You guys are really helping me out. And spread the word, That's right, Hoss. There is a certain bit of me that, like, I already climbed that mountain. And then I got hit twice. We had the recession. And the recession was just brutal. I mean, if you guys are under the age of 40, you might not remember how incredibly, Ahmad, that's funny. Arnaud, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Arnaud Metral Biolay. He says, Bukowski wrote, find something you love and let it kill you. Well, it almost did. Almost did. You guys remember I had a double bypass in 2018, and I'm happy. I have a strong heart now. And I think I look younger now than I did in 2018 because my heart's in really good shape. But Don, yes, I have played. My first guitar was a Teisco. Those are fun. I got one of those in elementary school. Nice guitar. I loved it. Wouldn't stay in tune for 8 notes, but still fun to play. Anyway, so I would like to move forward and take care of my music business brothers. I think a lot of people are making money off of people by giving you that false choice. A lot of tube people don't have the expertise of digital. A lot of digital people don't have tube amp experience, which is why I get hired as a consultant for digital companies. I think we could go places and have fun. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. And it's really just enabling. Like, say, you can take your amp, I can walk over there and get on stage and go play. I can go down the street and plug it in a studio. And I can sit here at my home office and plug into my little bitty Mac Mini that's right here. That would be really cool. That would be very useful. As long as it sounds good and as long as it works well. So Tom and I created over 3,000 IRs that I think sound better than any IRs on the market. So we have those in our back pocket. I own all the intellectual property for this stuff. So let's do it. Who's in? Should I start a GoFundMe? I just need to raise like $200,000 or something. Think we could do that? Arnaud from France, thank you for joining us. All my Norwegian brothers are here. Don Fieber's up in Canada. Hoss Thompson in the north of England. Dan Mamano up in the mountains at Mammoth. One of the most beautiful places on earth if you've never been there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know where some of you guys are. Scotty Bratcher, you're in Ohio, right? I forget. I'm sorry for being forgetful at the moment. Guys from all over the country, all the time zones. It's really nice that you show up. I really appreciate it sincerely. Really good. Rob Price, good to see you. Randy Kreth was here. The Reverend Randy Kreth. Marcus Derby, speaking Spanish. I don't know where you're from. A lot of Spanish here in Los Angeles. You can live your whole life in LA and never speak English. I really wish I could speak Spanish. I just know polite Spanish. Yeah, this is great. Haas, thank you for all the great comments. I'm looking back over here. You really contributed a lot. I appreciate TJ Overcast from Montana. Norwegian brothers are here. Yeah, fun day. I'm going to let it go, guys. Lovely talking to you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for making time for me. If you're watching the recording, I'm sorry I rambled so long. But it'll be live on Facebook and YouTube momentarily. So I'll see you next week. Might be a whiskey again. I don't know. We got a few of them. Might be a Soho. We got a few Empires. Got some other stuff too, but I can't remember. But we're kind of selling one a week, which is great. We're building up the coffers so we can do this. Got to commission some transformers and blah, blah, blah. It's boring. But hey, Bill Strange, how are you, buddy? I didn't know you were here. All right, you guys have an awesome day. I love you. I mean it. Thank you again for making time for me, and I'll see you next week. All righty. Take care now. Bye-bye.